Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. Find us everywhere you find podcasts on a Sunday night. I'm your host, Rod. I'm joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're ready to do this podcast. All right, guys. You can find us everywhere you get us. TheBlackoutTips.com or just search The Blackout Tips. We'll come up. And then, do your thing. Like us. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Y'all did a great job of that last week. We got so many. We were so happy.
Yay!
Thank you to everyone who took the time. Mm-hmm. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball. Extreme. All right. Lots of stuff to talk about. But, first I got to ask you, Karen, if there's any banter.
I don't have any.
What? I'm shocked. I really thought you did. All right, I got banter.
Oh, I'm about to say
No. Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter?
I do.
Talk to me. Do you have any banter?
I do.
Banter. All right, yeah, I have plenty of banter. I got us.
Okay.
I was on the Karen Hunter show this Friday, and I'm on there a lot of Fridays, so people got used to me. And it's a very welcoming, fun environment.
It is.
The fans are awesome and stuff.
Ain't they though?
Many of them have crossed over and they listen to us here. And they watch us on YouTube. So definitely appreciate that.
We do.
But, like anything, you do it long enough, there's going to be some haters out there. So a guy called in and he told the people on the radio, this call screeners, that, he wanted to say how much he liked and appreciated me. But then we got on the air, he started off like, yeah, I like and appreciate Rod, but... and then, or I like to appreciate Rod, and then he just cut off in the middle. It was like, pussy eating bitch, and hung up. And I'm thinking the same thing y'all are thinking, obviously, which is, how did he know? Got me.
Got him.
Damn. Not the whole world finding out my deep dark secret.
You behind the closet.
What? Wow. Well, I think we learned a lot more about him and his anonymous fake call than
anything else.
Yeah, it's like you can't. Guilty as charged. You can't shame a person that's not ashamed.
I hate for the person that's with you. You sure ain't eating that pussy.
Right, yeah, it's DJ Khaled called up. He hung up, he was like, and another one.
That poor thing.
I don't know who else he gonna call like that. But
cat ain't getting licked. I feel sorry for that person.
Yeah, all right, congrats. Yeah. Oh no, I'll be very insecure about this now.
Right?
Telling you right now, if you don't have a vagina, you're not the person I'm worried about judging my taste.
Your skills, all right.
No pun intended. More of my banter. A flatbread is just a pizza that went to private school. Okay.
It is. It's all pizza to me, and I know people will be like, "It ain't pizza, bitch. It's all designed the same. You got a crust and toppings."
It's just a bougie pizza that came from a stable home that went backpacking across Europe to find themselves for a year instead of going
came
straight
back
to
with
college.
with exotic products.
It speaks 2 languages, but none of them fluently. But
right.
It speaks like English, French, and German, but it's real messed up on that French and German.
And come back and brag to you about all the stamps they got on their passport.
Yeah, exactly. Like flatbread pizza is just bougie. That's all. You can't trick me. You're a flatbread pizza. You're not really a flatbread. You got white sauce. Oh, I've never heard of that. What could ever have white sauce? You must not be like those normal pizzas.
I eat it all, so you ain't tricking me, bitch.
Yeah, nice try, okay? I know what you're doing, and I know what you're trying to do, and it's not going to work on me. Nope. You're just a regular-ass pizza. You're just a bougie pizza,
yes,
okay?
You are, and as a pizza connoisseur, you can't trick me. The concept is all the same.
I tell my mom I'll never be like any of those Negroes.
I love seeing parents who allow their kids to dress up in costumes and odd clothing on a regular, just everyday outing.
That would probably be my kid. I'm not fighting with you. You want to put on mishmash socks in a striped uniform and yellow pants, put it on. I comb your hair. Let go. I ain't fighting with you.
Yeah, and I don't even mean it in that way necessarily. Like, it's not about because I feel like those parents gave up trying to get their kids to dress the right way. I just feel like a lot of times those kids seem free.
Yeah, they do.
And I feel like, life is going to try to make kids conform their whole lives, and they're going to get anxiety and all kinds of shit over that at some point. They'll really start caring as they get older and become teenagers and all that. But I don't know, there's something cool about seeing like a kid in a princess dress. Just going into fucking Family Dollar or some
nothing's
shit.
happening. They just like on a random ass Tuesday. That's what they felt like wearing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's adorable, man. I mean, I didn't have kids, so maybe it's something that regular parents get tired of. It's like, that's actually bad parenting, but I don't know. I feel like them kids seem free. It's, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to like wearing cowboy boots because I was a big fan of Dukes of Hazzards, and I had a cowboy hat. My parents used to let me wear that shit. And I think it's important, especially for like artistic kids and kids that aren't necessarily gonna live your 9 to 5 clock in at a cubicle lives.
Right.
It's good to learn that, like, this has a place too.
It does. And as somebody who kind of grew up bucking against the norm, I would be more understanding to that. As somebody who, as a kid who really didn't like to get their hair combed, really didn't like to dress up and things like that, it does stresses the kid out when the parents like, you got to do this and you got to do that, and the kid is like, that's not my nature. Like, you're trying to crush me down because you don't want to be looked at as a bad parent versus just allowing your child to be.
So I just want to say, you're talking about something. I know you're trying to help me out here, but I'm not talking about the same thing.
Okay.
Like, if you not wanting to do your hair is a different type of thing. Like, I don't want to comb my hair. Like, I know that there's a lot of parents that are like, no, you have to leave the house with your hair combed. That's like a fundamental thing. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, I want to put on a space helmet and we're going to the movies. I'm gonna wear my cowboy hat, like that kind of shit. Like, I think that's cute. I don't, I think there's others, and I'm not saying those issues aren't valid. I'm saying they're just different than what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, because I kind of went through that as a kid, I'm like, I would be a little bit more understanding.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool, kind of cute, and you see it every once in a while, and it always brings a smile to my heart to be like, look at that little kid getting to be free. And then, their parents could be cool, their parents could be middle, they could be whack. I don't know anything about the parents, but I always just kind of assume like, oh, they must be cool parents. To be like, yeah, put on your fucking Buzz Lightyear backpack. Who gives a fuck? Come on, man. Let's go. Let's hang out. Like, it's me and you, and we about to do. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. We're just going to Walmart or whatever. But yeah, wear your shit. Put that shit on.
This time is more important than,
because for kids, that's putting that shit on.
That is right.
Like, for us, it's like, I gotta have the Gucci this or the Versace that or Supreme, whatever. For a kid, putting on the motherfucking Buzz Lightyear helmet, that's them walking out the house like, I got that shit on.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna kill them when they see me pull up in the Kroger, and they know I got my
Woody.
They know I got my Woody from Toy Story hat on.
I'll be killing these hoes.
They ain't gonna know what hit them. These other little kids gonna be like, damn, that he is pimping.
These bitches ain't gonna know what to do.
Right. Like, that's what them kids be thinking. But I feel like we don't really, we discourage that a little bit. We judge them. But kids need to have a life too.
Come on.
Another one. There was no reason for the DuckTales theme song to go that hard.
It goes hard.
It really was no reason. It made no sense. And that was like in an era where all the theme songs for cartoons was going way too hard.
Come on. They was like, we gonna win awards for this shit. They was like, we gonna get them lyrics down. And on top of that, I think back in the day, all jokes aside, they kind of respected that a little bit more than they do now. Not that they don't, because there are some people that they're outstanding and they get the accolades. But, over the years, you kind of can tell. I know for me, the theme songs have kind of evolved. But, man, back in the day, you had, like, people like really blowing their hearts out on like a 2-minute theme song that would go every week.
Even when they brought DuckTales back a couple years ago on Disney, I forget what it was called, the Disney something channel.
Yeah, man, you watched that. I was hurt when they was like, we're not doing it no more. I was like, y'all had a great story y'all were trying to tell.
But the theme song was updated and it still went hard.
Yes.
Like, they just knew what they was doing. They put their whole foot in that motherfucking, that DuckTale. The bass line is ridiculous. Like, the instrumentality, the song, the lyrics, like, just how catchy it was. You know, life is like a hurricane.
Here in Duckburg.
Like, the danger out right behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. That shit was a bop.
Come on, I memorized that shit.
And I watch it every time. It was no skip buttons on the intros back then because you weren't streaming.
Right.
But like that shit, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, like
Darkwing Duck goes, let's get dangerous.
They like it was just an era, and you know, Transformers, of course.
Spandale, Rescue Rangers, let's go, bitch.
Transformers, of course, G.I. Joe. Like it was just, I mean, you had some. I don't know why they went so hard on the thing opening songs. Like only thing, maybe that's why I'm so prone as a grown up to still love anime, because anime is the only like animated art that really 100% will always go hard on that intro.
Them bitches care, y'all. I like, because y'all know I watch a lot of anime, and they have some I never skip the intro. Like I think one of my personal favorite intros of all time is Cowboy Bebop. Like I even got the soundtrack. I put the ringtone on my phone. That bitch always goes.
Yeah, I feel like with anime, it's the exception to the rule if it don't.
Right. You get some whack ass anime music. You're like, what is this? Particularly the intro.
Yeah.
And for some of them, if they real good, the intro and the outro bop, you be like, well, goddamn.
Yeah, the X-Men theme used to go hard. Like, it's just so many of these just hard for no fucking reason.
Hey, that was like, we got a hit in our hands, guys.
Jim.
Come on.
Jim
Truly outrageous.
Oh,
Jim is my name.
Fashion and glitter, whatever it was.
Yes.
Jim, like they used to read.
We are the misfits.
Right.
Come on, now they had like 2 songs in one on that one.
Yeah, because they songs was better.
Yes.
Like it's crazy how.
And we're gonna get her.
It's crazy how much songs went hard back then. And a dope song, man. I mean, it'll keep you around. It'll keep you listening. It'll keep you watching, streaming more and more episodes. Gummy Bears had a dope theme.
And what's so funny, like you have a lot of adults, they kind of quote unquote grow out of them. Some children was just never into it, but you have some people who feel like they are obligated to grow out of cartoons. But it's like, hey dog, adults make this shit for children. The children ain't the ones creating this shit. Like some adult has to produce and make these things for these children.
Yeah, it's just that X-Men opening theme to this day, and that shit was just instrumental.
Just instrumental.
Like
not a word song. They was like, we gonna put this keyboard to work.
Good grief, what happened to that era? The kids, they don't know what they missed. Like I still watch cartoons, but it's not the same, man.
It's very different, and it kind of depends on the cartoon, because for some of them the intro is really short now. Like yeah. it's not that 1 to 2 minutes.
Right.
Maybe and this cartoon's like over 20 something years old, but SpongeBob SquarePants, I love that intro.
See, I count that as old. That's not new.
Right.
That's our shit.
All right, because it's so old. But that's one of the few that's like a minute, 2 minutes long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It count to me. That's like if G.I. Joe Steel came on. Like that's not
true.
You don't get that's not the new kid shit. They might
no.
They just kept hanging around. But yeah, it's crazy how it don't go hard like that. I think streaming has a lot to do with it too.
That's true too.
With so much of the streaming intros being short and skippable.
Yes.
Where it's like, just get me to the show. Get me to the show. If I can hit this button, I'm gonna hit this button. Whereas before, when you had commercials and shit, like they could play the theme song and cut the commercial.
Some of them
did. Then you come back and be like, okay, here's the show. Karen tried to Jedi Mind Trick me today.
I did.
I bought some Sprite mini cans, 0 sugar, which I like, which I had a lot of in New York. I would get certain beverages for the apartment I had to stay in. Since you're ordering off of like, if I was ordering off of like getting it delivered or something, I'd be like, well, since I'm getting Instacart, I might as well get some sodas or whatever.
Right.
And I found like, hey, it's nice to have like a little mini Sprite in the, 7.5 ounces just sitting in the fridge every once in a while. And it's something I brought back with me to Charlotte. And of course, the zero sugar to me tastes good, depending on which ones you get, but normally it's good. But Karen looked at the soda I bought that she's never bought for the house and said, like I don't know if she was about to drink one or what, but she tried to trick me. She was like, oh, you like these too? What do you mean too? They're mine. You like them too. You never buy them and you didn't know you liked them. You tried them and was like, I like these, and then tried to act like you was slick, like I was gonna be like, oh, okay.
You like them too now.
Thank you, Karen, for drinking some of my sodas.
I showed them and tearing them bitches up.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're not slick. You're not low. This is more of a visual joke. The observation that I made, but I think it's funny. I'll show y'all this tweet I made. But y'all see this picture right here? It's a man. And this happens in the NFL all the time, especially during the playoffs.
Is that real?
Oh yeah, it's real. It's absolutely, you goddamn right, it's real.
Oh, you know what? He was the kid that walked outside with the space helmet.
Just let me.
That's what happened. And he was like, I'm an adult now. I can buy the whole set. I ain't got, mama said she couldn't buy the whole thing, and now I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be the whole Buzz Lightyear.
Well,
I got a job, mama. I got McDonald's money. That's what that man said.
Well, now that's kind of ruined the premise of my joke, so I don't know if my joke will still work.
Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, it's funny because this is football culture. And like a dude that does this is like, he becomes like the iconic fan for the stadium. Like it looks like all of his armor. This guy, I would describe him as a guy who looks like he's doing Power Rangers Monster of the Week cosplay, but it's Chargers, I think it's Los Angeles Chargers or San Diego Chargers. I don't know which city they're currently bankrupting, but
right.
He's doing cosplay as one of them. It's like he looks like he should be called a Zord or something. Like he look like a Chitauri. Remember the Chitauri that the Avengers fought in Avengers 1? He looked like a Chitauri.
Yeah, he looked like with the Power Rangers fight somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He like the villain, like the bad guy.
The villain of the week.
Like he
gonna have some minions.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's supposed to be like, send in the dragon or whatever.
Come on, dragons.
But I was laughing at this because this is very normalized. You look up on sports, and sports is very mainstream and macho. You look up on the sports station or the TV show you watch, the game you're watching, and you see a guy like this in the crowd, and we just prone to think like, oh, that guy's a super fan. But I also feel like this is the same culture that looks down on like, if you dressed up and did cosplay because you're a big fan of Dandadon.
Come on. Yes.
All of a sudden it's like, look at this nerd.
Yeah, you dress up like Powerpuff Girls or whatever your favorite anime character is. Like, well, this is dress up too, y'all. Like, I don't know why y'all don't consider it cosplay, because you ain't out there on the field, dog.
Yeah, I feel like a nigga dressed like this during football games will think you're weird for getting dressed up to go see Bleach in the movie theater.
Yes.
Like,
with your black robe on.
Right.
Talking about flash step.
Be like, man, why are you into that weird shit? It's like, I'm sorry I didn't dress like Voltron going to play the Packers.
Right. And put like this, at least Transformers I could understand, but Transformers is not a football team.
I know you had to look at your wife at some point and be like, baby, have you seen my codpiece? Have you seen my codpiece?
Yes, you know he did. Baby, where's the left boot? Where is the left boot?
Where's my butt armor? You know I'm not going to be able to sit down on them seats without the butt armor.
Baby, where's the screwdriver? The knees need to bend.
Like, is that what a man cave is for? He's just in there tooling away like Tony Stark when he was trapped in that cave with a box of scraps. That
shit took him months to make.
He just came out with this shit. His wife's like, I don't think we're getting a divorce. I haven't seen him in months. And he came out and was like, I'm done, baby.
Yes. She was like, I think he's seeing another woman. I don't know. Damn,
Right.
he been locked in there for days. What's happening?
It's like when Stan got into the mini car racing in American Dad.
Yes.
It's like, well, now I wish you were cheating. At least then some other women would want to fuck you.
Ain't nobody but me, apparently.
Like, that's crazy. He kind of looked like Mike Tomlin too. At first I thought this was Photoshop, but
That's what I thought. That's why I asked, was it real?
That's a real dude that was at the game. The other day I also saw like some niggas that look like Daft Punk at a Chiefs game. I was like, yo, it's crazy how you can do that. And it's like, that guy's a cool fan of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did that shit and was like, we're going to NerdCon, they'd be like, of course you are, you losers. Give this guy a wedgie. You know?
But like this, either way, both of them shits is expensive. You paying to go to the football games, and I'm paying to go to the con. We all spending money.
And I'm a fan of both, so this isn't even shade. I'm a nerdy sports fan, but
Right.
it is funny how one picks on the other, and vice versa too. Nerds always pick on sports. It's so weird. It's like, this is if I want to hold this up to someone doing cosplay and be like, this is the same picture.
Yes.
Okay, y'all should be friends. Stop hating on each other's shit.
Like, it don't make sense.
All right, that's it for all of my thoughts, y'all. My banter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the show stuff with some. Where should we start? I don't know. It's all terrible news. I guess we'll do a little bit of political news to start the show. All right, politics, guys. Let's see if we can get into a little bit.
Okay.
Once again, I do not promise to go into full depth. I feel like I'm still very angry, and every story could be an hour long of me cursing, but I don't want to give that kind of energy going into 2025.
I said that again.
Amazon is going to halt some of its DEI programs, according to an internal memo, and same thing with Meta. They're done with the DEI. Okay, they said they proved their point. Trump won. There's no reason to keep pretending that this shit matters anymore.
Right, because they're not going to be, there's no accountability. Right, so why would they? And like I said, it goes back to what I said before. Y'all didn't have to do any of this shit, and nobody would have cared. Like you didn't even have to really start the programs. And people would have been angry, they would have complained, but it looks worse that y'all started all these programs and invested billions of dollars. People benefited from it now, but you invested millions of dollars just to turn around and be like, yeah, we ain't mean that shit. Well, you didn't mean it from the get-go.
Well, I feel like, as always, we knew they didn't mean it, but it was like, get your coins while you can if you're a person looking for opportunities, because this is going to dry up because they don't have the willpower to stick with it.
Nope.
But most importantly, the thing that people keep saying is this whole, like, these billionaires are bowing and kissing the ring of Trump, and they're scared of Trump, and Trump's coming for them, and they don't want to lose their stuff for Trump. I don't believe that. I know why you guys are saying it. I know what the plausible deniability is of what they're doing, but I think you're going too easy on these guys, and that's weird for me to say, because I'm the person that's normally like, look, billionaires, I get it, they still like people and shit, and it kind of depends on each one, and but in this case, I find it odd that so many people who typically are the ones that eat the rich and all this shit are like, well, no, these guys are just scared of Trump. And I think what they think they're doing is insulting these guys, or being like, look at you, you bitch, you're scared. That's not the real insult here. To me, the insult, or the truth of it, is they seem like they're kind of down with this shit and have always been down with it.
Yes.
And I would say, because if you go to the inception of what they were doing, these were the stuff that they installed, to me, was the fear. So when you said nobody was asking or nobody cared that they put those programs in, I disagree. everybody was putting pressure on them. You need to do diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you want to be a real ally, what's wrong with your website? How come I'm getting harassed on here? Y'all just let that shit happen. And all of a sudden they were like, DI, and that was when they were scared. When the government, when Joe Biden and Obama were like, hey, we're going to go behind you and make sure you're not spreading misinformation. We're going to put pressure on your company not to do that. So once again, what was the default? The default was not accountability. The default was we do spread misinformation. It's all freedom of speech.
Right.
Hey, you got called the N-word. Hey, that's freedom of speech.
Right.
So to me, when they were scared was when it was Kamala's gonna win. When Biden did win, and you never saw Jeff Bezos congratulate him. You know, a friend of mine was saying he like, you know, it was disappointing because he kind of like pulled the mask off or whatever. And I'm like, I was never aware, and it's just because I think I don't keep up with him like that. I was never even aware people were giving him the pass of like Jeff Bezos a liberal. I really didn't think so. I thought Mackenzie Bezos was a liberal based on all of the philanthropy she did after they split, but I like he never came across like that to me.
No, he did not.
And so I feel like this is their default. They just going back like, oh, thank God we can stop pretending that we care about black people, gay people, brown people across the globe, women. We can just stop. Listen, my company, we don't care about that. It was wasted effort. It took too much money and too much time, and I don't feel like doing it no more.
Agreed. And my thing is, yes, I do think before they were doing it out of accountability. That's the only reason why they were doing it. For them to turn around and just, like you said, as soon as the administration changes, they just got rid of everything. And a lot of companies did that. And my thing is for, maybe not for them, maybe because they got more pressure from the federal government, these two companies, but there are a lot of other companies that did this, that didn't have to do this, that actually just made themselves look terrible unnecessarily.
Well, like I said, I think, so I only quibble with, I wouldn't say accountability, I would say fear. I don't think they were being, like, I don't think they did DEI initiatives out of accountability. I think they were scared that like the government was going to shut them down because remember, conservatives and Democrats were mad at them for a while. Conservatives swore that they were getting, you know, whatever, and Democrats was like, and y'all spreading misinformation about COVID and all kinds of shit. So I don't like, accountability to me is like some internal shit. Like accountability is when a company is like, we're going to make sure that everybody does this type of training for HR or something, right? Like that's accountability. And companies have that if they have it. But pressure from the outside isn't really accountability as much as it's fear of what the repercussions will be, right? So it's like they got George Floyd died and they got external pressure to be like, oh guys, we're gonna really measure how much we help black people and stuff now. And I'm like, and that's why I'm making a distinction on purpose, because that word means something. That's not accountability to me. That's fear. You see what I'm saying? Accountability is me being like, I'm going to the gym because I said I was going to the gym. Fear is, hey man, if you don't go to the gym, your wife's gonna find out you didn't go to the gym. I still went to the gym in both cases, but one of them I went because I was scared of you. The other one I went because I dedicated that to myself. That's an internal thing. These companies don't have this internal morality that they pledge, that they sell us, right?
Right.
These were not authentic ideas that came from within. Mark Zuckerberg's heart never grew 3 sizes and was like, oh, now that George Floyd died, I see the need for accountability. They were scared of what would happen if they weren't going to pretend to be accountable.
And that's my and I do understand what you're saying. To me the accountability comes out of the fear. So I still say accountability, because if nobody was going to come behind you, you would not have done it. So I think that's where the quote unquote accountability comes, because you made the move because you didn't want to be held accountable in case the federal government did really start placing laws, cracking down, coming at you, in case your stocks tanked, because those were the quote unquote accountability consequences of you not doing this.
Okay, I'll drop it. I think people can hear the difference in what I'm trying to say, but
I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I like I said, I wouldn't use that word because the other thing is I don't think the government was going to be able to hold them accountable. Like, what was they going to do? For real. They brought them before Congress, yelled at them, and then they went back to their houses and did whatever the fuck they was going to do anyway. Some of them did stuff that was about diversity and inclusion. Some of them didn't do shit. And both sides wanted it. So, like, Republicans weren't asking for diversity and inclusion. They did that shit out of fear of who they thought was in charge and who would be in charge. And now they're not, I don't think they're fearful that Republicans are going to come for them.
Oh, no.
As much as they're just like, cool, we can just turn all this off. Also, the part that people don't talk about is the money.
Yeah.
Like the money. They don't have to pay people to do community notes.
Yeah.
Guess who does it? The users that have to stay online and fact check.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they facts have a liberal bias, according to Mark Zuckerberg, who went on Joe Rogan's podcast. So this is not a this right here is a return to normal, and then and I think that's all that's happened. I think people are giving them this out of like they're just scared of Trump, but deep down they're good people that want good things. And that's not what they're about. They're more about exploiting people and Facebook actively manipulating your mind. Just all you got to do is look into like any level of like research. There's been podcasts about it, books written about it, Cambridge Analytica. There's been documentaries on it. Like these are not platforms that are just not putting a finger on the scale. But when they're scared, like how they're scared in Europe, they move different in Europe.
They do because they have to.
A lot of this is also leverage. If we can do it in America, who are you to tell us not to be able to do this in Germany and all this shit? And I don't think those countries will fold like we did. France is already being like, Elon Musk, don't you bring your shit over here. Like it's different other places because they see the danger, but in America they don't, at least one side doesn't.
Right, because, people don't actually take that shit seriously, even though a lot of people, quote unquote, claim that they care about their personal information and they claim that they care about, the safety of their presence on the internet, but the way you voted, no, you don't. Like just the populace in the totality. When you ask people, oh, I'm scared my phone listening. Oh, I'm scared it's tracking me. Well, bitch, it's gonna get worse now because you thought nobody cared before. They really don't care now when they know nobody's gonna come behind them, nobody's gonna check, nobody's gonna hold their feet to the fire, and if they do get outside pressure, they can say, suck my dick, because nothing's going to happen.
Gold-plated watches and electoral map sneakers. Trump's newest merchandise raises conflict of interest questions. It's going to be a conflict of interest. Y'all let them back in the White House. That's it. No one's going to do shit about it.
They're not.
Nothing's going to happen.
He on businesses and all types of shit. He y'all didn't get the taxes the first time. Y'all not gonna get taxes this time. No shit.
He's selling $900 gold-plated inauguration edition watches.
It's gonna turn green.
The office is for sale. He told you that when he was selling it the last time,
yes,
selling secrets. It's always been for sale. People just let it be for sale. They don't care. Like they keep putting this shit out here like people gonna give a fuck. It's over for giving a fuck.
Yes, it is. When he won, the shit was over.
Guess when he started selling these watches? In the summer of last year. Meaning he was still running for the office and people didn't care and voted for him.
Right.
I don't know why they think this shit is gonna matter. Tesla ended up laying off U.S. employees because they got the foreigners using visas. So we knew that was coming. Trump imposed a social media ban on cabinet picks because of that MAGA civil war they had between Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and many conservative white people. So he just said, can y'all just stop tweeting for a second?
Why would they listen?
Yeah. No. I think they would listen because Trump is like we just need to get into power and just do the shit. Like, we don't need to debate with them online. Plus, I think Trump likes to be seen as the singular figurehead and leader of that group, no matter who paid for the election. I think Trump is like, I'm the guy who goes out and tells people what to do. You gotta stop fucking fighting everybody.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things where I don't care what nobody says. Trump is not a smart man, but Trump is intelligent enough to know he gonna do it different this time. And he's intelligent enough to know, like, hey, stop doing that shit. Like, we just gonna do it. We, like last time, and not to say he still might tweet and post and all that stuff, but like you say, he wants to be the center of it regardless of what. He's like, no, y'all don't do that shit. Let me post online. Let me say what I'm gonna do. Y'all just pass the law so we can get this shit done. It's gonna be a really different, and shit's gonna run a lot smoother.
Let's see. MAGA fans say Elon Musk still owes them thousands for election petition referrals. Some supporters of President-elect Donald Trump are calling out ex-owner Elon Musk for not paying them after they took part in his free speech petition ahead of the 2024 presidential election.
Y'all thought y'all was gonna get that money?
In replies to a post criticizing Musk from Trump ally Laura Loomer, some Trump supporters said they were still owed money after they took part in his petition drive scheme that promised the participants $47 for each successful referral to sign the petition. I'm waiting 80 days for payment from his America PAC, wrote one person. In a follow-up post, they said she has only been paid $94 so far for her efforts, and added, I and many others like me are owed thousands. Yeah, you won't be getting it. He don't pay people, and neither does Trump.
He don't pay people, and not trying funny, for the fact that you need the money is the problem.
That you need it? What do you mean?
For the fact that you want to get paid, you're making a big deal out of being paid. You probably need the money. You know, like you ain't asking for it just because. Like you like, ooh, y'all need to pay me. I want my money.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of that money is was like very controversial. It's like you paying people for votes and all this stuff, and a lot of it wasn't really political for people. There were a lot of people who were not MAGA or Republicans who went out and worked for Elon Musk because he was paying. And the conditions and stuff, and there's video of like people riding around in vans that had no seating in the back and shit, and it went viral. He's just a slave driver like that, and he don't give a fuck about them people. So they ain't getting their money. Fuck them.
They ain't gonna see another dime.
Trump vows to pursue executions after Biden commutes most of federal death row.
Yeah, he gonna crank it back up. We probably gonna have records for the most people execution ever.
Yep. CNN sees one of its lowest ratings ever as massive layoffs loom. Yeah, I mean, people don't think y'all did a good job. I think what's interesting is that between Meta, between CNN, between so many other institutions, a lot of people see Trump winning as like a referendum on facts and balance and nuance and truth, and they're like, they're not saying we didn't do a good job. They're saying the parameters of what the job is have changed. And it's like the customer's always right. As a court, that's the philosophy I'm seeing. Customer's always right, and more customers chose Trump, and Trump is a liar, and it doesn't matter what he says. And so we're going to become a place that treats that as equal and opposite of the truth. And I mean, they have been doing it for years,
right?
But I feel like this has been the inflection point where they've actually tipped the scale the other way and just went, we're going to report not truth like truth as well as truth, because it's up to the user to decide what their truth is going to be.
Right.
And it hasn't really done anything but drive off the people that were holding on tight to CNN and MSNBC
for facts
as alternatives,
yes,
to these mainstream Fox News, because they're never going to watch One America or Fox. So these people basically went, so y'all are gonna do the same thing as them but not as good, like,
right? And them people ain't gonna come, so you're satisfying nobody.
Yeah, and it's been very interesting to see them almost flummoxed by the lack of ratings. And I don't know, maybe it's a big thing where like the people that own it are conservative or lean conservative now, the people that bought these networks, where they're like, fuck it, if I gotta lose billions of dollars buying this network, or if I run it into the ground, who gives a fuck? Trump won, conservative politics and ideas are winning, and yeah, we'll never, like, this may just be a thing where one day CNN don't exist, or one day MSNBC is not here anymore,
right?
And I'ma still be a rich ass motherfucker and not care, but at least I got my tax cuts and my policies that I want passed. Because it's really interesting to see how it's turned into I feel like we were saying it last, like, this is not gonna work out well for y'all. This spending so much time bashing Democrats, bashing Biden, this is not gonna work out well for y'all. Why do you think people watch y'all and not these other channels?
Right.
because they can get bashing of Biden and,
anywhere
and kind of like tainted, slanted coverage that always paints him in a bad light. They can get that over at Fox if that's what they were coming to you for.
If that's what they wanted,
you know.
And it's almost like you say, it's like whoever was in charge either didn't know or didn't care about what their core audience wanted. And over the years, they have been slowly doing shit to turn off a lot of their core audience, trying to cater towards an audience that was never going to come. Like those people, those white people that y'all want, they are never going to come. And so they have been slowly losing ratings over the years. We've been reporting this. Like since Trump run the first time, they have slowly been losing ratings over the years. And it goes up for election time, and it normally drops after election. But I think this time the drop was deep. And I know, not trying to funny, it is millions of people like me who just literally just tapped out of all that shit. Like I said, I'm coming back, and I do listen sporadically. If I listen to it, it got to be real condensed. But I know a lot of people like me, and we in the millions, we was just like, fuck this and fuck y'all. And people like me blame them for the reason why Biden had to step down and Kamala lost. Like, because y'all was out here bullshitting. And so once you make those core people mad, you're going to have people going, hey, we've lost millions of viewers and we don't know how to get them back, if they ever will come back. So yes, you got to cut, because where are your viewers? They're not listening to your podcast. They're not listening to your radio shows. They just literally went away because y'all told us that y'all didn't care. What else am I supposed to think? Like you said, I came to you for facts, and you said fuck facts.
About 3 out of 10 people are highly confident in the Trump cabinet in spending or military oversight. 3 out of 10. Interesting that you can win with those numbers, but it happened. 3 out of 10, but that's after the election. Biden commuted roughly 1,500 sentences and pardoned 39 people in the biggest single day act of clemency. And I heard very little about it, because everyone who was banging on him for saying, like, you pardon your son, but if you do this, we'll give you some credit and it won't bother me. They did not celebrate this at all, because they don't give a fuck about them people for real.
Right.
They don't even know what they did. If anything, most of the stuff I saw about this was people cherry picking one or two of the people and being like, why they let him out? Or how come they commute this sentence? How come he ain't on death row? And I'm like, yeah, y'all full of shit.
Yeah.
Y'all full of shit.
And like I said, a lot of the liberals and the extreme left got caught up in the bullshit, and they will never admit that they got. Y'all fell for a lot of bullshit, hook, line, and sinker, and you will never admit that you were also part of the problem, in my personal opinion. And so you were never serious, about you were coming to things and talking about things, and you wouldn't coming from a sincere spot. So we can't have I don't want to talk to you.
ABC is giving $15 million to Trump's presidential library to end the defamation lawsuit, because they called him, believe they said something like he was found guilty of sexual assault, but Trump and them sued because it's like, I was found guilty for sexual abuse or sexual harassment, something like that. And the settlement also included an apology from ABC. This is kissing the ring.
Yes, it is.
This is to me fear of an administration, because I don't think ABC News was like, yay, Trump. I feel like they went, fuck it. Like, this is what the people want. He won. We don't know what he's going to do to retaliate.
Right.
And they ceded a victory that they were going to win in court, just because there's no version of this where they actually were going to be held liable for defamation. But
anybody else, they would have fought.
And giving money to a presidential library is a real kind of nebulous thing, where the money doesn't necessarily, like, it's not like you give money and then they go put more books in there. Like, it's who knows where the money really ends up and how it's going to end up in someone's pocket. But it's more like a payoff to be like, fuck it.
Yes,
like,
just leave us alone.
All right, last story in politics, and then we'll move on to some more fun, greener pastures, hopefully. Post-election polling suggests a new reason behind Trump's victory. This is a Yahoo News opinion article. So they did new polling by showing Cooperman and research in partnership with George Washington University Graduate School of Political Management. It likely provides the clearest explanation. Our poll, the first poll, post-election poll, specifically focused on trust in government, reveals that while voters are less trusting of the government as a result of the election, they believe the government will be more effective and can get things done. Put another way, our poll suggests that Democrats ran the wrong campaign, whereas they ran a values campaign focused on government. Americans could trust what voters really wanted was effective government, and on that, they preferred Donald Trump. Indeed, we found a plurality. 39% of Americans said that the 2024 election results made them less trusting of the government.
I wonder who took this poll.
But I just told you who took. What do you mean who took it?
Oh, okay. I mean, like, what was the demographic? Like, with the black, white, like, what were the nationalities of the people that took this poll? Because these numbers right here, like these numbers that you're telling me, sound like they talk to a lot of white people. I'm not all jokes aside, like, cause these numbers make no fucking sense. I was like, when you said, I was like, am I going fucking, am I tasting lead? This don't make sense. Because, like, they are the one that believe the bullshit that it's better. Anybody else with any common sense would have been like, hey, y'all, he getting ready to wreck the economy. He getting ready to fuck shit up. He didn't promise you shit. He had a concept of a plan. The fuck we talking about here?
Yeah. You know what? At the time that I saved this article, I think it said something a little bit different, or it might have been in the post about it, but I don't see it in the article anymore. But that is, let me see. But earlier there was another version of this. Okay, yeah. Okay. There was another version of this where they broke down the racial demographics, and now maybe I saved the wrong article because I don't see it in this one.
No problem.
But it was like the divide was white voters trusted him at a much higher percentage than other voters did.
That makes sense.
Now I don't see it in this article, so maybe the tweet said that and then the article doesn't say that or something.
No problem.
But yeah, of course, Trump voters are far less racially diverse than Harris voters. It's mostly white. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just but it did come down to race, and now because this article, maybe I saved the wrong one, but it's not. It doesn't say it now.
No problem.
Sorry, I had the exact numbers too, and I thought it was important. Historically, white voters have favored Republican candidates in every presidential election since Nixon ran in '68. Black voters have a long but yeah, it says something. Fuck. Yeah, this is not giving me what I wanted, which was that basically if you're white in America and you vote a Republican, you think Donald Trump will just handle the government better than Democrats would. And it is a white thing to think that.
Yes.
And so it was kind of interesting to see how and it's a mostly white male thing to think that. Okay. But it was interesting to see how so much of the post-election rhetoric was Democrats didn't do this and Democrats do that. Even this opinion started with like, Democrats ran the wrong campaign. I'm like, they can't run a campaign that will make a white voter feel like they're better. And if that white voter has any hang-ups about black and brown people and women and gay people, you can't just make them. You can't just tell them like, hey, feel better. And they'll be like, oh, okay, thank you. My concerns were met. So, all right. I said that was the last one, but that was kind of a thud because I say the wrong article. So I'll do one last one. Mitch McConnell fell and sprained his wrist at the GOP luncheon, and colleagues say he is fine. He's also the guy we saw get the loading screen in front of everybody a year ago.
Glitched.
Here's what I got to say, though. Our side, could have learned a lot from this. Because you see what they did? We've watched Mitch McConnell literally stall out.
Mm-hmm. With the loader screen.
And the way that they never even considered him stepping down from his position.
No!
They never considered running someone against him other than him. They never considered asking him to step down. They never considered asking him to cede power. They didn't do a bunch of media reports knocking this guy down for months and trying to make sure that he would be ineffective as a leader.
They said business as normal.
They said possession is 9/10 of the law.
Nothing to see here.
We possess the seat. Why would we ever look weak?
Right, and that was, I'm not trying to be, that was my whole fucking point about Biden, and I understand what I understand, I do, y'all, but I was like, I don't give a fuck because they don't. Why should I care?
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lesson to be learned here now that Kamala has lost. That those of us who felt immediately like, bruh, we're giving up this Biden shit way too fucking easy just because of some nerds that write for papers are telling you to give up. I know what you think. I know you think everybody's heart grew and they're rational and reasonable like you, but this country has never really seemed to be that kind of a place where reason just reigns and we can all be like, yeah, you know what? It's like the best of a bad situation. We fold on this side.
Yes.
We fold. People stayed home rather than vote for Kamala Harris this time.
And had every excuse in the book. Oh,
and maybe they would have stayed home for Biden too. I don't know. We'll never know because we did not rally behind him and go, fuck that. And the main point that I always made about the Biden thing was, if your thing is, I will vote for Kamala Harris if it's Kamala, right? That was your thing. So why don't we just make it Kamala? My retort to that is, that's already what the plan is. So if Biden, anything ever happens to him, she's gonna run the country because she's next up. We have a succession in place.
Right.
But, and I get it. Like, people just take shit for granted. They just really think we're a better country than we are. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that, and it's an underreported story. Not even liberals and Democrats and people that were really hard on Biden and stuff. They have, my point is, they didn't bring it up because they have even accepted that the gerontocracy of the Republicans will not be swayed because the Republicans won't give you the option to sway it. Democrats got fucked for trying to be good people and be like, you know what, you guys made some points and we just want to keep the party going. And instead they got everything they did out of consideration for the government and for society got used as something against them. It's like, y'all shouldn't have did that. And so it's kind of funny to see how no one takes responsibility, and you'll see zero people go back and go, yeah, we might have played that wrong. Meanwhile, Republicans never even considered somebody stepping out. And for the record, even more so with Donald Trump, right? Who's a criminal, like a convicted criminal at this point. They never wavered off of running him. Not once.
Not once. And that was my whole point. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't care about how many people he sexually assaulted. They didn't care about how many businesses he took down. They didn't care he was a crook. They didn't care. They didn't give a fuck. They said, get that man in office, and when he gonna get in office, we gonna get our way. We claim we want to go low. We don't want to go low, because going low would have been like, well, if y'all say fuck it, we're saying fuck it too. Round 2.
All right, let's get into another segment. I'll play some music so we can lighten the mood. We're gonna let Karen, get it out of her system, guys. I know she doesn't care. She's over the election. She's moved on. It's not a big deal.
I'm not over it. I'll never be over it.
You
like COVID.
Not worthy.
Listen. Listen. For those, I want you to. You see. For those, I want you to. For those, I want you to. You see. For those, I want you to. You see. You see. For those, I want you to. You see.
All right, I think that's called "Wanna Help" by DJ Jaffa. All right, let's get into some other news. All right, let's see if we can find something nice. Medical debt will soon be banned on credit reports. Shout out to Joe Biden. Never did nothing. Had job growth every single month of his presidency. It'll be nice to see Trump take credit for that.
Yup, until he decides to reverse that shit.
decides he gonna blame it on Biden.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, that's cool. Like, you know,
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think they said that's like the number one reason most people file for bankruptcy.
Yep. And that is the number one reason of divorce. Like,
Yes, it is.
that shit is hard, dog.
Yeah, all it takes is one person to get sick, one unpredictable event with you, your spouse, your kids, a significant other, somebody you taking care of, or some shit like this. All because people here in this country are so selfish and so self-centered, and they don't want the others to get to have health care. So here we don't consider it a right for health care.
Apple agrees to settle 2019 lawsuit over privacy and Siri. They sell it for $95 million, which means everybody get $3. It's estimated to be tens of millions Siri-enabled device owners, splitting up $95 million, plus whatever the lawyers probably take off the top.
Right, it's probably like 30 to 40% of that.
Yeah, and so the lawsuit stemmed from a 2019 report that Apple quality control contractors could regularly hear sensitive info accidentally recorded by the voice assistant. The clips were said to include medical information, criminal activities, and even sexual encounters. Apple denied wrongdoing, but is agreeing to settle the case.
Yeah, I believe this because whenever you say, "Hey Siri," Siri goes, you got to be listening in order to know that I called your name.
Yeah. Two plaintiffs claimed that inadvertently recorded mentions of Nike Air Jordans and Olive Garden restaurants led to receiving ads for those products. After talking about it with his doctor, another plaintiff said he got ads for brand name surgical treatment. In a statement to Engadget, Apple highlighted its Siri privacy protections and motive for settling the case. Siri has been engineered to protect user privacy from the beginning. Siri data has never been used to build marketing profiles and has never been sold to anyone for any purpose. Apple settled this case to avoid additional litigation so we can move forward from concerns about third-party grading that we already addressed in 2019. We use Siri data to improve Siri, and we are constantly developing technologies to make Siri even more private. I don't know. Y'all did settle that shit though. Who pays 90? I mean, y'all got it like that, but who pays $95 million they don't have to pay?
Agreed. Yeah. Like you say, something's happening, but they go, we just gonna pay because we don't want these niggas over here snooping and investigating. Pay them.
Right. Because I mean, once you start getting in the deposition phase, who knows what's dropping?
And IT people start talking, you be like, fuck. Nope, we ain't going through that.
Apple says any data you choose to share with Siri is never used for advertising, and the company has stressed there isn't any evidence in this lawsuit or anywhere else that the company has done so. The assistant does as much learning as possible on device and modern devices. Those 2018 A12 Bionic chip or newer process your audio entirely that way. The company added that Apple Intelligence doesn't train on user data.
How does it learn then?
I don't know. So there you go. Apple's not snooping on you guys. Everybody, we're safe. We're good. All right.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Yeah. You can trust it. Don't listen to Mr. Span. Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion was granted a 5-year restraining order on Tory Lanez.
Good.
Because she said he's even been harassing her from prison through third parties.
Good.
And she was granted that restraining order. And since we weren't in the courtroom, my guess is there was evidence enough that people and the judge or whoever ruled on her side. I've never fallen for the bloggers who tell me she set him up and shit. I think that man shot her. I think he was convicted of such.
Yes, he did.
And every documentary I've seen on it has done nothing but convince me further that he did it.
Yeah, there's nothing that I've seen to make me go that make me think otherwise. I believe her. I believed her from the beginning that she was telling the truth. Yeah.
Now this might make Karen as mad as the Donald Trump segment, but
shit,
I have to cover it anyway, guys. Out of fairness. So, there's a guy, Tony Vincent-Quera, who is the Sony Pictures CEO. Okay. And he was talking about, Sony is responsible for the Spider-Man movies that you may know as being terrible movies, such as Venom, 1, 2, and 3. I think they're terrible. I know some people would offend a couple of those. I think they're all bad.
Agreed.
But Venom 1, 2, and 3, Morbius, Madam Web, Craven, I think are the films that he made over that they produced over there.
Right.
And so he says he's gave an interview to I think LA Times or something like that, and they asked him, do you think the Spider-Man universe strategy needs to be rethought? He says, I do think we need to rethink it just because it's snake bitten. If we put out another one, it's going to get destroyed no matter how good or bad it is. How do you feel about the performance of the film studio during tenure? Going back to Kraven the Hunter, he said, we've been mostly very, very good results. Unfortunately, Kraven the Hunter that we launched last weekend and my last film launch is probably the worst launch we had in 7.5 years, so that didn't work out very well, which I still don't understand because the film is not a bad film.
What?
But we've been very successful. We beat our budgets every year. I've been here even through the strikes and COVID and max bonuses several of the years for all the employees. It was a good run. Film studio was a big part of it. Back to Kraven the Hunter. And Sony had Madam Web earlier this year, which also underperformed. Let's just touch on Madam Web for a moment. Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, and it did great on Netflix.
You fucking fell out with the actress publicly.
For some reason, the press decided they didn't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by the critics and the press for some reason.
Each Venom made less and less money.
Yep. They also, after this interview, I saw they actually let go the dude that was responsible for the Venom, the Spider-Verse that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. Those movies, they let him go.
Yeah, don't say.
I mean, was that the critics too? Or did y'all look up and be like, yeah, Palak Patel gotta go? These movies fucking suck. They got bad, because that's the other thing. Even if he's trying to be like it was the media or whatever, they got bad like ratings from people and fans too.
And y'all know me and Roger got both movie critics. A lot of these shits, y'all didn't even let the critics review them first because y'all knew they was bad. I'm pretty sure people seen it and told y'all it was bad, and y'all was like, fuck it, we don't spend too much money, we're gonna put the bullshit out anyway.
But he said for some reason, like it was a conspiracy.
For some them shits.
I'm gonna tell you what the reason is.
Terrible.
The reason is we saw them.
We did, and they were bad. Talking about good or bad. No, bitch, put out some good shit. How you gonna have a Spider-Verse without Spider-Man? Make it make sense.
Yeah, talk about the critics was, like Karen said, the critics couldn't even get to the movies because y'all was hiding them from the critics.
Right.
Because you knew they were bad.
Yes, Roger. Like I say, you talking about the critics. The critics had to spend their money because normally you get, particularly on these larger movies, you normally get like a preview, like something, a DVD stream, something. Y'all just skipped past everybody and put right because it was bad and y'all knew it was bad.
And this isn't like when they do that stuff because there's like a super huge secret. So it's like, we don't want to show this to critics because then it'll get out in reviews and it'll change like people coming into it'll ruin how people come into no, they're just bad movies and they don't want anyone to know they're bad until the last possible moment. So if they can make sure that those reviews don't hit until Friday morning rather than, Tuesday morning, they'll do it.
That, and y'all know me and Roger go watch a lot of movies. This fucking Craven, they've been talking about this bitch for 2 years now. Like, they started, stopped, and it was supposed to come out right after the Madam Web. Madam Web flopped so bad, they pushed that bitch back again. So y'all never believed in y'all product. Y'all knew the shit was bad. Like it is bad. And for those of you that have listened to me on other podcasts, y'all know how I feel about them fucking up the Marvel shit because they are not Marvel. They're in association with Marvel. The bitch, it ain't the goddamn same. I don't care what y'all say out there talking about it the same. Bitch, they not. They are not the same. Yeah, because when you say that shit makes me mad. You right, I'm just this mad. Because, people, look at you talking about, oh, you nerd, you can't. Yeah, you football nerds. Yeah, y'all can. If I come over there talking about some bullshit about a tight end or a wide receiver or talking about basketball and just saying wild shit, y'all will get fucking mad and be like, bitch, get out of here. You don't care. Well, that's how I feel about this, bitch. I care. I care about the shit.
Yeah, Tone and K-Baz and Bossa.
Y'all, that's Roger
y'all,
talking.
no, I'm talking to y'all. Listen, if y'all know the difference between who in the AFC and the NFC, then you can know the difference between what counts for MCU and what counts for Sony CU bullshit. That Spider-Man bullshit. Y'all know the difference. Talking about Marvel gonna have to own one of these flops. No, they don't. These not on them.
These are not on them.
This is a hostage situation.
Yeah, it is. But I believe in this is the one time I believe in Monopoly. Buy y'all shit back. I am pro Monopoly. Buy it back, bitch. You
That's
got
like-
Fox, buy this too.
That's like me looking at the Commander schedule and being like, but they ain't beat the Texans, and y'all like they didn't play them. Right? Yeah, you right. I shouldn't even be talking about this. I'm confused. Okay, and they want y'all to be confused. It's so fucked up what Sony is doing.
That's the whole purpose. Like, I'm not even mad, but like this, I'm frustrated because they purposely and strategically are confusing people. So
and then
for
this
me,
nigga's
it's
copping
frustrating.
pleas. He in the fucking paper like, I don't know why they don't like him. They not good. They not good.
And
That's why people don't like them.
And y'all know y'all tricking people that don't keep up with the shit and that is not a nerd like me. Y'all are fucking tricking them because y'all go in association with. For those of you that watch movies, they used to have the same fucking intro as Marvel. Marvel had to turn around and make their intro fucking flip pages that have every character that they do just so Sony wouldn't mimic that too. So now it don't say Marvel, it says in association with. That shit matters to me.
When you see the intro and it's showing like Marvel stuff on streaming or on in the theater, it's a reason you see Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, you
Loki.
like you see Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Like you see them, and you don't see that at Sony because they had to change the logo. So it's like, no, we need people to know when they walk in this motherfucker that this is not Mr. Pibb, it's Dr. Pepper. Cause y'all motherfuckers got people sipping out and be like, you know what, Dr. Pepper fell off. It's like, you drinking Mr. Pibb.
Right, like it is a difference. And one more thing, these niggas own Spider-Man, right? And Sony was like, hey y'all, we'll sit down and we'll talk to y'all about this Spider-Man thing. Y'all ain't got to do nothing. We'll make the money and pay y'all. We'll do the work, and y'all just sit down and make our $1 billion every time we make another Spider-Man. You ain't got to do shit. So Sony got too big for their britches and started acting a fool. And Kevin Feige was like, bitch, I got shit to do. Y'all can have it and fuck it up. Like, I can go, and y'all won't be getting that billions of dollars for free that we make it for y'all. And then they had to bring their asses back to the table because y'all make shitty ass movies.
All right. We got it all out our system, y'all. Let's go ahead and move.
You're right. You know me too well. I'm my bad, y'all. I know that's like Karen, yes.
Let's move on to Guess the Race.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, let's get into it, guys. All right. A Southern California man took a ride to the Phoenix airport using Waymo.
What the hell is a Waymo?
It's like a ride app, but I think it's for like the self-driving cars, or you can pick a self-driving car. So, now let me know if y'all can hear this in the chat. If not, I may have to change the audio, but let me know if y'all can hear
Flight
this.
to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Someone said, why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy.
Did
We'll
y'all
have to
hear
wait
that?
a few seconds for the chat to let us know if they heard it or not.
Yeah,
and then
yes, they did.
Okay. All right, I'll finish playing the article then. Here we go.
New at 11, a Waymo way out of control in Arizona. A man got stuck in the self-driving ride to the Sky Harbor International Airport that kept going in circles. This happened last Monday as a vehicle did loops in the parking lot for a few minutes. The incident had the Inglewood man feeling helpless, as this was only the second time he'd been in a Waymo. The man thinks the airport's layout may have gotten the car confused.
Now we are guessing the race of the man because the car has no driver, okay?
If we got to the 10th loop, do I need to jump into the driver's seat? What happens there? What happens next? Because the car is still in control. I could bench press 300 plus, but am I able to control this?
Okay, Flex.
There was something I had to do, edit my ride. That's it, edit my ride. And then all of a sudden it went from loop to then finally figuring out how to get out the parking lot.
Waymo says that the ride was only delayed 5 minutes and the passenger was refunded for the trip. He also made his flight back to LA.
I like how they was kind of copping pleas at the end with all that, like, hey, it was just 5 minutes and he got where he was going and we gave him the money back. It's like, yeah, but bitch, that had to be a scary 5 minutes going in circles.
A scary 5 minutes. Y'all know how computers is. Like, bitch, do I need to control alt delete this bitch? Like, what is happening here? I shouldn't be going around in circles for 5 minutes.
Like, in this case, you're actually worse than a person, because if a person was doing that, I'd punch them in their fucking mouth.
Right.
Like, drop me off. Stop the car. But with a machine, I'm like, do I pour water on it? What do I?
Right. Is there a USB plug? Like, how do I turn this bitch off?
Well, guess the race of the passenger.
Black.
Karen's going with black for this Inglewood man. I'd be scared. That's a black man. Cyberdyne kidnapped a brother. They crossed the yellow line at the traffic lights all the time. It's not a race. Unless you're trying to say yellow is a race, which is extra racist. Black. Okay. The ones who did guess, they went black and they are correct. And I do have his, I don't know if they put a picture of him in here, but he is on the video somewhere, looking.
I know that shit gotta be for like this. And they act like that 5 minutes with nothing. It's like, bitch, I'm in something that can fucking kill me. If this thing decides to run into a pole or run off the bridge, I'm dead.
And I could be late for just my flight anyway. I don't know that I'm not going to be late.
Right.
Like, y'all are saying it like, well, of course he was fine. It's like, yeah, now that's him.
Now
that's him in the American flag shirt. He can bench 300 pounds. I saw that flex. He threw that in there. Listen, I can bench 300 pounds. I mean, what I'm supposed to do? You know, I'm just
right. You got some IT tech person he probably talking to on the phone trying to figure out why it's malfunctioning.
Well, let's keep it to the reckless driving, guys. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna keep this thing trucking. No pun intended. A Missouri motorist clocked going 107 miles per hour told police that he was unaware he was speeding because he was preoccupied playing a video game while driving.
How, Sway? Did they take your license on the spot? You in the 55 going 107?
He was on that switch, I guess. I don't know. Dakota Trayvon Crater, 25, was pulled over Friday night on Interstate 35.
He was going higher than 35.
In a village about 10 miles north of Kansas City. He was behind the wheel of a 2023 Nissan Sentra when, damn, he got a Sentra up to 107?
How, Sway?
You don't play, boy.
You got them good tires on that Sentra.
He got a lead foot.
Yeah, real lead.
He was exceeding the posted 65 mile per hour speed limit seen at the right. He was also driving on a suspended license. You don't say. He was driving on a suspended license. What? Well, I never.
Right.
You telling me a person doing 105 is, wow, okay.
I am shocked. Well, not that shocked.
But like this, even if the highs is 75 or 85, you still going 30 miles over an hour if it's like 70 or 80. Like, you still go like 30, 40 miles over the speed. But if it's like 55, goddamn.
Well, it was 60. Yeah, so 65 is the speed limit. So 30 miles over is 95. He was doing 107.
Woo.
Police say he admitted to playing a video game while driving. Why would you tell them that? Do you know how fast you were going? In Mario Kart? Or you mean in this car?
The car, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know, but I was actually on turn 3 of the Mushroom Kingdom. They said they did not ask him what game he was playing. A review of his TikTok page shows he's devoted to playing My Hero Ultra Rumble, which is a 24-player battle royale. In October, he posted 5 clips showing his exploits in the free online game. Karen, guess the race of Mr. Dakota Trayvon Carter.
I'm going black.
Karen is going black. Let's see what the chat room believes his race is.
These blacks are having a hard time in these cars today, ain't they?
The blacks in these cars. What is going on with them?
I have no idea.
Biracial black who thought he could tell the cops the truth because his mom's white. Black, it was his baby mama's car. Black baby mamas love Nissan Sentra.
That's hilarious.
A brother was playing Madden, pushing all the buttons on Saquon Barkley. Black, no white Trayvons. Sad fact. The correct answer is black. That's him, ironically taking a picture in a car. So he's like, right before this, he might be driving fast taking this picture. I don't know that he's even parked. He's like, I'm doing 85 right now.
We don't know.
Take a quick selfie real quick. These hoes ain't gonna know what hit them, and it's gonna be my car. It's gonna be a hit and run. All right, y'all, let's get to the bonus round. So far, Karen is 2 for 2, I believe.
Yay!
So you get the more racist version.
That the bitch was white! I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to guess
Gold
the race.
teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big guy, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
Cop watching porn at the time of crash.
What?
Another vehicular story. A Florida cop was watching pornography on his phone when he slammed his patrol car to a vehicle stopped ahead of him. Come on, man. Come on. He was initially it was according to an internal affairs report that accused him of initially lying about the incident. It was a 140.
They probably was recording inside of your car.
Did they get him on body cam? How do they know? The 140.
Yeah, they probably, because sometimes they have recorders inside of the car, so they was probably recording him inside of the car.
The 145p. That's why you don't give them laptops. They be looking at us talking about distracted driving on your phone, but he's on there doing all kinds of shit. 1:45 p.m. crash occurred 2 months ago. Tristan McComber, 28, initially offered various explanations for his distracted driving. He claimed he had been on the phone with another officer at the time of the crash, contended that the squad car had mechanical issues. He would go on to claim that he had been exchanging.
They can verify.
He would go on to claim he had been exchanging texts with the fellow officers. Listen, you want any of these excuses to fly, you need to shoot an innocent black person, okay? Then they'll believe you. However, investigators reviewed dash cam and body worn footage. Not the body cam really did catch him. Wow.
Oh, okay. So the one they have on themselves that looks out. Yeah, you fumbling with your phone.
So you looking at porn, knowing you wearing a body cam,
knowing you being recorded.
That's crazy levels of Sushio. That dude was wow. He's like, what happened? I believe I was getting a text from another officer. That looks like Violet Myers, sir. I know those titties anywhere. Okay, you're not gonna get one over on me, even if you were getting one over on yourself. However, the investigators reviewed the dash cam. They found out that the video recorded the cruiser's steering wheel airbag deploying, and him telling the 63-year-old female motorist that his brakes locked up because he hit her Toyota Corolla. A Florida Highway Patrol report prepared at the time stated that he was inattentive and drove in a careless and negligent manner. The report estimated the police vehicle damage at $10,000 and the damage to the Toyota to be $5,000. He eventually admitted that he was on his phone looking at inappropriate pictures. Oh, he's keeping it old school, looking at pictures. Which he further described as pornographic material like boobs or whatnot.
Not or whatnots. Boobs or anything up underneath that goes along with boobs, apparently. Well, we know what you're into, sir.
First of all, it was definitely boobs. Mm-hmm. But I do want to know what the whatnot was.
Yeah, that whatnot is a wide range.
He was like, what were you looking at? I was looking at boobs or whatnot. Can you be more specific? Buttholes.
Right. Can you be more specific? Like, that's why he said, oh, whatnot. He was like, I don't want to go into any details.
Okay.
Y'all gonna see it on the video.
He stated that he was looking at the images that contained nudity. As for why he said his car had a defective anti-lock braking system, he admitted the claim was more of a deflection than a genuine reason for the vehicle crash. His hesitancy to admit the pornography viewing, he said, was lying by omission. The Internal Affairs probe found that he was in violation of several professional standards, including departure from the truth and the prohibited use of an electronic device. So you're not supposed to be on his phone like that.
Not when they driving.
He has not been charged with a crime. Guess the race.
White.
Karen's going white. Okay. I wonder what kind of porn he was watching then.
It will make sense that, you're driving. So no. And they, you have all types of shit in your phone to contact people and officers and shit that don't require, you to actually be on your phone.
Yeah. I just wonder if they could tell from the audio of the porn that he was watching or whatever. Like if they was like, he was like, nah, I wasn't watching porn. They was like, play back the audio. Porn pros, bitch. Throwing liquor on these bitches. Pouring liquor on these bitches. Let me see your 40-ounce bounce on the bitches.
Bang Bros.
Bangbros.com.
Yes. Blacked.com.
Yeah. Tushy.com. He was like, oh, nah, that's just like that's like a song I was listening to. Okay, you got me. I was looking at titties.
You got me.
And whatnot.
And whatnot.
Let's see what the chat room says. Dick all out at work, white. He was looking at ebony porn, white. This is why they blocked Pornhub in a bunch of states, white because he called them boobs instead of titties. The correct answer is white.
That's hilarious.
And that is the man who is an expert in boobs or whatnot. Like his first day on the job, took a very professional picture. He probably was thinking to himself, can't wait to get in the car and look at some boobs right here. That's why he's smiling like that. He's like, look at me. They don't even know I'm about to look at some boobs on the clock. I'm gonna get paid to look at boobs.
Guarantee you this wasn't his first time doing it.
Of course not.
First time he crashed, so he had to be held accountable.
Yeah. He was like, oh,
which made them go through the video, which means they probably found more than once.
As soon as he blamed the car, it was over for him.
Cause that's something they can verify.
Yeah, well, it's also something they don't want to hear. Like our police vehicle brakes be locking up. They're not gonna let you get away with that.
Right, and they're gonna be like, why didn't you report this immediately?
Yeah, you better off blaming yourself right away. All right, last thing, let's do some sword ratchetness and get out of here.
There's been people.
All right. I think I have video for this one, so I'll try to show it on the screen.
Okay.
Seattle suspect, a Seattle man accused of attacking man with sword and fleeing on stunt bike.
People that have been pushing to get rid of CEQA for many years say that's one of the.
Is this even the same? No, this is terrible. This isn't even the same. This isn't even the
same story. It show like,
yeah, I hate when they do this.
Right. They have a big ass story. You click on the things like, no.
Yeah, I thought this video was from, anyway.
Was associated with it, right.
According to Seattle police, two men got into an argument at an apartment complex near 8th Ave South and South King Street. During the argument, the 41-year-old man pulled a sword concealed in his cane and slashed the other man's face, cutting his lower lip.
Goddamn.
The suspect is believed to have gotten away on a BMX-style bike and sped away.
BMX style bike.
You must be one of them teen ninjas.
Yes.
Is that what them dudes was called? Y'all remember not the Teenage Mutant Ninjas? What was those motherfucking white boy ninjas called? God, why am I drawing a blank on those white? If I put white boy ninjas into Google, y'all think it's gonna bring up Three Ninjas? You must have been one of them Three Ninjas.
That's old school, yeah.
BMX style bike, slash people with swords. Officers are called to the scene around 6:37 a.m. Damn, that's early bird gets the sword.
So they get the cut.
where they found a 51-year-old man with a wound on his lip. Police treated him. Then Seattle Fire Department paramedics arrived to take him to Harborview Medical Center. Police located the suspect only a few blocks away from Hinghey Park, arrested him, and booked him into the King County Jail for investigation of assault.
They better be glad he was on his way to ninjutsu school. I see, really fucked him up.
Yeah.
That was literally a drive-by.
He was late for school. But yeah, that's it for Soy Ratchetness and for the show. Karen, good stuff today.
Yay!
It's very funny what you said about that man in the Chargers outfit and how you related
Call back.
How you related to the other thing. That was very funny. It was so funny. My joke paled in comparison after that. So
yeah, I feel
stuff.
good. That all jokes aside, that means a lot coming from you because I be trying to be sharp over here.
No, it was killing me. That was very funny.
And sometimes I be flailing.
Yeah, that went perfectly together. He's one of those kids that got to be free. All right, y'all, that's it. We'll be back throughout the week. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have